back to the Wife.Mother.Teacher channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how we use the monthly cash flow plan form to fill out our monthly finances. This form is actually part of Dave Ramsey's program. And so if I flip, this is our book from his Financial Peace University class, which is wonderful. If you have ever wanted to learn more about finances, to get your finances in track, I cannot recommend this enough. I do think, though, that the document is also available in his book, Total Money Makeover. So I will link both of those below so that you could find those on your own. But basically what I do is I take that form, I take it to the printer, and I have it printed on large, this is 11.5 by 17 paper. I like to have everything in one page, so that's why I've chosen this paper size. So I kind of want to show you how I fill out the form and use it, which is slightly different than his recommended procedure. I should say, just as a disclaimer up front, I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not an expert. This is just how I have found his documents to be extremely helpful. So to give you an example, this is going to look different than his recommended way. This is our form filled out from last month. This would be from May. And the first thing that I do that's not in his recommended list is up at the top, I keep track of items that we are going to need to spend money on either this month or in the future. So for example, I knew that in May we were having our lawnmower serviced, so I needed to remember to include that. And I needed to buy monthly heartworm for my dogs. So those are two expenses that I just wanted to remember. So I wrote them up here. And I've also decided that for our health insurance in 2016, I would like to plan ahead and have saved our deductible ahead of time. So I am just including that in here as something to remember. So every single month, I'm going to write this note over again until we get to 2016. So that's the first thing that I do that's been really helpful. The other thing that I do is I go through, and if I have bills that are due on a certain date, which let's face it, most bills are, I go ahead and put in here the date of when they're due. And I find this to be really helpful when I go in and I fill out the next form, which I'll talk about in another video. But that's what these numbers represent. So our auto insurance is due on the 7th of the month. We have two separate life insurance, so those are due on the 24th and the 28th. So it just kind of gives you an idea of one thing that you can do. Another thing that we do differently than Dave's recommended plan is I fill out boxes to represent areas I would like to spend money in or plan to spend money in or need to spend money in, but I'm not yet sure exactly how much I'm going to spend. So for example, in May, we were wanting to spend some money on clothing. Now the fact that these boxes are empty tells me that we did not actually end up doing that. But it just kind of lets me have a quick visual of where money needs to be spent if I do have some extra money in a given month. That also would come up for things like birthdays. We had a birthday party and a baby shower to attend. I wasn't exactly sure how much I was going to spend. I knew, where I wanted as a ballpark, but if I can save money with coupons and things, I would. And so then I would have needed less. So for now, I just have it as a box. But just keep in mind that is different than what Dave recommends. The other thing is I actually never fill out my spent column on this form. I've found that doing the 2 column, although it completely makes sense with his system, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't end up working out quite that way for us and for the way that we use this. I end up keeping track of the spent on the other document, which again, I'll do in a future video. And when I've done that video, I'll link it below this one. So that then means that at the end, I don't fill out the bottom line. But I should say we used to. For the first 6 months that we did the Dave Ramsey program, we did fill this out exactly like he recommends. And it works great. It really does. But this is just a way that we've kind of streamlined it. And I know that Dave is pretty firm with his system, and he's firm because it works. So, don't feel like you have to do it my way. These are just some of the things that we've found works. So another thing that we do that's a little bit different is if we have a bill due twice in 1 month. So for example, this is one of my student loan bills. It is due on the 2nd of the month. The way that my husband and my pay periods work out is that the 2nd fell within this month's paychecks twice. And so this bill is due on the 2nd, and each time that I pay it, I have to pay $103.34. But because it fell in this month twice, I then had to put the total amount. So this would be both of those bills together. So that would be the one other major change that I make to this document. So with May being all filled out and we are now ready to create our June budget, what I would do is take my fresh, brand new document, and the first thing that I do is I go through and I fill out all of those dates that bills are due. So along the side here, I would fill out all of those numbers that I had up here. And then any bills that are the same every single month, so like my student loans, those are all the same every single month, I would go in and fill out, how much that would be that month. Keeping in mind, again, just like before, if during the pay periods, the way that the pay periods fall, if one of these bills would be due twice, then I would make a special note of that over here in the margin. And that happens, periodically. It just depends on the month and how the pay periods fall. The other thing I would then do right away is I would see if there's anything weird about the month of June. So for example, did we have any gifts that we needed? Or like for me, I'm a teacher. I don't have to pay for childcare in the summer. So my childcare is going to change. So those kinds of things I go through and I mark and I fill out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then we'll pick back up with part 2. Okay, so here's part 2. I went ahead and I filled out my June monthly cash flow plan. First, by copying down from May all the things that stay the same, which are the majority of these. And then I went through and I looked at our calendar to figure out if there were any bills that were going to be due twice, like this one on the 2nd. And I filled those in. And then I know that we have another baby shower and another birthday party that I need to budget for. We need haircuts, so that's going to go into here. My dog needs to go into the vet. My birthday is in July, so I know I'm going to have to pay for my new license plates. And then I need to get some adult clothing this month, and we are saving money towards our trip for Germany. So those boxes, what I'm going to have to do now is figure those out once I've actually done the other document. So to give you kind of a heads up on that and what that's going to look like, if we go back to this same Financial Peace University book and we go to the back of the book where the forms are, so we're just doing the monthly cash flow plan. So next time, we're going to go through the allocated spending plan. And this is a 2-part document. It is wonderful. It really breaks everything down as detailed as you could possibly want. So this will be our next video. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you'll please hit like, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos, especially meant for busy working moms. And remember, busy working moms, you are amazing. Keep up the great work.